So, Mark, did you see that picture of the guy enjoying March Madness in Vegas in style with his IV in his arm? Is there a better way to do it?
It's pretty degenerate to bring one of those to a sports book. I absolutely love the move. Much respect to that man for getting the full loveliness of Vegas, both sports betting and whatever he did the night before.
I know people who have IVs every trip to Vegas, but the big question here is, what are the odds that he has a diaper on as well?
I'm not sure about that.
Mark Osterman is off today. We have Mark Jackson. We had to have a Mark sitting in for him. The other Mark will be back on Thursday. But Mark Jackson, Jetsetting, we've known you, both of us have known you for 7-8 years now, a travel influencer all around the world, Vegas too, great content. So welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Excited to not have to make you say a whole different name.
So one of the big mysteries over the last few years is these monoliths that have been appearing all over the country. I know, maybe even all over the world. I don't know. There was one outside of Vegas that was last year and the police tore it down. Everybody was upset. But another one showed up at Seven Magic Mountains, the art installation out at Gene. And I think they're going to take it down because the artist is upset, wants his original art the way it's supposed to be with desert all around, no monoliths. But yeah, we still don't know where these are coming from.
I love this piece of art that just keeps popping up at different places. I can definitely understand the original artist just not wanting anything else like in his original art, but these monoliths are just so mysterious and they're pretty cool looking in my opinion. So I love seeing when they pop up. They're pretty big, right? So it's pretty impressive that they could sneak that in there.
Yeah, I think their stealth skills are very impressive in getting them out there. And I'm just sad that they tear them down, leave it, make it a sculpture garden or an art garden, right? You can have different pieces of art sitting next to each other. Why do we have to keep tearing these down? Make them part of the narrative.
Well, it's good promotion for the original piece of art. Gets them in the news cycle.
Yeah, everybody should go out there and check out Seven Magic Mountains. On the surface, when you see a video of it, it just looks like colored boulders. But it is really cool when you go out there, you stand under them. They're very tall. The scale of all of it. And then the desert around it is part of the art, kind of being out there in the middle of nowhere. I love it. And I think everybody should drive out there to see it. But I just wish the monolith would stay.
We'll see where it pops up next. Maybe next to the Las Vegas sign or something like that.
That would be amazing if they could pull that off without anybody seeing them. Try it, whoever is doing this. So this next one is a story I think that's developed over the last few years. More and more bars in town, especially at the casinos, Caesars and other properties, they have these lights, so you have to play. The old trick used to be go to the bar, you'd get a full cocktail, sit down, throw $20 in. They wouldn't even care if you played, and you get a nice drink faster than some of the cocktail service. Well, they learned, and now you have lights. And this guy tagged me on Twitter. He was on a comp at Caesar's Palace, had to pay the resort fee, so he's already like 60 something dollars into it. And then he went around to a few bars. He says he played $150. I think this is the problem. He probably moved bars. You got to stay at the same machine or else you're screwed under this system. So yeah, don't do that. I mean, I think $20 was what they were doing, but maybe they've upped the amount before the light turns on. But just be aware of that. And it's still a great trick at a lot of casinos because they don't have these light systems.
Yeah. Last time I was in Vegas, I definitely tried this trick, and most of the places that I was had this light system in place. The awkward thing is me going up to the bar, and I'm clearly looking for a free drink and to cycle through some amount of money, but I just don't know what the policy is just because I'm not at that particular casino, every day. So I don't know how much I have to cycle. So kind of awkwardly asking the bartender, like, how much play before I get that cocktail. So I don't love these systems. Obviously, I like just kind of getting a drink to get started and then maybe hanging out for a little bit. But at a minimum, you have to stay at the same machine and cycle through that amount of money. If you're looking for free drinks, you can't just be bouncing around.
Yeah, I think it would be super awkward. I have to ask the bartender, I'm so cheap, I want to know exactly how much I have to gamble here in order to get a free drink. It does create some awkward moments. It is one of the ways that Las Vegas sucks these days compared to the past. But, the smaller casinos, some of the local casinos, you could still do that. And it's a trick that my wife does all the time when we get to a casino. She wants a martini, like a full size one. She'll start there and I'll go walk around, hang out a bit. And then 20 minutes later, we'll go do whatever else we're doing. And it works. So yeah, sorry for this guy. And yeah, it's a bad experience though. You go there on a comp and you do this and you don't even get a Coors Light. So one of the things that we love to talk about on this show is the A's lately and the big drama around their stadium and whether they have money to build the stadium. And we released renders a few weeks ago, or they released renders a few weeks ago showing it, and it's moving forward. A lot of people still skeptical because they don't have the money. And so what are they doing now? They're selling a piece of the team. And apparently they have rich people lined up to buy a piece of the team. That's what they're saying. It's going to be at a valuation of $2 billion, which would make it more than the Orioles sold for last year, $1.7 billion. And it's one of the lower valued franchises in Major League Baseball. But I guess the bet being once it comes to Vegas, it's going to be worth a lot. So maybe this is how they get the rest of the money that they need.
Yeah, selling a piece of yourself to have to build the stadium is never a good look. But there are people that want to own a sports franchise no matter what. And I do think that they'll probably end up getting the money. I get that the valuation is a little higher than the last franchise sold, just by nature of being on the Las Vegas Strip. If they can make that happen, I think that you can get to that valuation pretty easily. My question is the baseball's valuations in general with the TV deals and things like that, Disney ditching their deal with them a few weeks back. And so we'll have to see, how many people are truly interested in the baseball product once this stadium actually finally gets built.
Yeah, I mean, it's given us something to talk about for many, many years. And the Fisher family would still own 80% of the team once they sold off this chunk. And there is some precedent here. The Raiders were one of the lowest valued franchises in all of the NFL. Now they're one of the highest. I think the valuation has over tripled since they moved to Las Vegas. So maybe there's some good stuff in that. I can see why people would line up to get a piece of it. It's not every day you can get a piece of a team, especially one on the Las Vegas Strip. And as much as people are skeptical of this, the project looks good. The stadium looks good. We lost the Tropicana. It's sad. But if this does get built, it will be good for the city. And so we have to try to support it at this point. And I remain, skeptical on the surface, but I actually do think this is going to happen.
I'm going to miss the Tropicana, or I already do. So maybe in the suites they can bring some of the homage to those top floor rooms that they used to have over there, maybe like a dry sauna or something like that. The hot tub, we'll never forget those rooms over there.
Yeah, those bathtub suites at the Tropicana, that's old Vegas. When I was a kid staying there, they had mirrors on the ceilings and all of that good stuff. And as a kid, you're like, why are there mirrors on the ceilings in this room? Something that had to be explained to me later.
Yeah, they should put that in the suites.
So there's a story from the Four Queens this week, and I wanted to cover this because there's a bunch of bad people in casinos that do bad things, take money, they're trying to rip people off. And this guy found $1,500 on the floor at the Four Queens, made sure to tell them, made sure that they tracked down the person who had it, and good on Four Queens, they gave him a $250 gift certificate to their restaurants over there, to Hugo's Cellar, which is a great restaurant, by the way, one of the great old school restaurants in town. So good on Four Queens for doing that, but good Samaritan. I've had people steal money from me in a casino, and it seems like that's what happens more than somebody doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think this is just great karma for that guy. I'm assuming that it's cash and not one of the little tickets, right? Because I read that it's actually illegal to play on those tickets that you get out of the machine. Actually turning in cash to security is just an amazing move. He's a good guy, obviously, and was well rewarded for it. I think, $250 at the steakhouse is great. He can have a great dinner with his wife or whoever else he wants to bring, and has a good story too.
So moving on to UNLV, they are the national hockey champions of the American Collegiate Hockey Association. When I put this in the Slack and Mark Osterman saw this, he said it was the fake hockey championship. So always hating, bringing his hate to the show, even when he's not here. This not the NCAA. I had to actually deep dive into understanding the difference between these different divisions in hockey because it works a little different than some of the other sports. So yeah, there is an NCAA Division I, and I guess they have bigger schools, but heck, this is where UNLV plays. They beat out like 70-something teams, and they're the national champions, so let's celebrate it.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what league you're playing in. If you beat everyone else, you are the champions. I do think that maybe there could be a different term rather than national champions, but congrats to them for winning nonetheless.
Yeah, suck it, Mark Osterman. UNLV national champions. It's a real title. As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. Me and Mark Osterman talking all about Vegas, fun stuff behind the channel, our escapades. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information, and thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So somebody sent me a picture of the Rio Players Club line. A couple shows ago, Vital Vegas had talked about his bad experience there, and I kind of pointed out that the Players Club had this big open space where everybody just congregates, and it's been like that since Dreamscape took over Rio. They hadn't really done anything. I would imagine it's probably Vital Vegas talking about it more than me. But hey, we have stanchions, we have lines now at the Players Club at Rio, so that's a move in the right direction.
I was just over at the Rio, and I didn't see any lines set up, but I also didn't see any people in line at the players' desks. So it's good, I think, during those busy times or when a show gets out.
Yeah, it's the little things that got lost at Rio, and maybe I think by giving them these criticisms, like Vital Vegas talked about a few weeks ago, just little things going wrong. Me talking about my many stays. You and I both probably stay there this year because of Hyatt credit, things like that. I've had a lot of stays there. And so like people go in there, they see that it's pretty, and I really like almost everything that they did with the renovations. Some people don't love that carpet. I really love that jungle carpet. The rooms are fine. Yeah, the rooms are fine. I mean, they're not the fanciest and there's little problems, but it is the staff that I do hope that they continue to work on more of a culture of customer service and understanding if you want to be approachable luxury, which is their words, that does mean something. It's not just a marketing term. When you're going to put the word luxury out there, then customer service has to be right behind it. And them responding in this way, I think, is a great sign.
Absolutely. I think the Rio has done an amazing job with their renovations. Looking to stay there again at some point, but I do think that, you know, valuing the player and the loyal customers with this move, it's a small but a good sign.
So one of our more famous videos that we've done on this channel is our pizza tour that we did a few months ago. It kind of backfired on us. Went all around town with our buddy Dave, and people weren't happy that we shared slices at certain places. I don't think that they fathom what it's like to eat at like 9 pizza places in a day. But anyway, it was a fun video to make, and it was great to hear all the feedback. But Vegas is actually turning into a pizza city, one of the best pizza cities in the country. And this website, Clever, does all these data analyses, and it found the best pizza cities in the U.S. Las Vegas is number 13, more expensive than a lot of cities. If you look at it, the cost of like your income for that, the cost of a large pie, but the average Yelp rating, much higher than a lot of cities. And overall, I think Las Vegas pizza culture kind of catching on.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. I would love to see them eclipse Chicago, where I think that their pizza is the most overrated pizza. Maybe get some hate in the comments about that. But I do think that the culture that I've experienced, I haven't gone on a full pizza tour and explored some of the more off-strip options, but I've had some great pizza in Vegas, and can definitely understand where the price is edging up, especially if some of the strip pizzas are included in that analysis. There's some expensive slices out there, but it's cool to see. I love bringing in all the different types of pizzas into the city and having maybe not one type of pizza. You can try all the different types from around the U.S. that have been so successful.
Yeah, so many. And I think Pinup Pizza probably driving the statistics up with their $80 pies and $14 slices. But yeah, Pizza City, we're here to stay. We need our own style of Vegas pizza. How could we make pizza Vegas style pizza? That's what we need next.
Oh, well, you got to bring in some crazy ingredients, I think. But would you change the crust? Would you change the thickness of the pizza, or would you just go purely based on like just the style of it, the glitz and the glamour, bringing in the Vegas history there?
I think we got to go Salt Bay. We gold plate it, and then my Poppy steak. We put it in a briefcase and we brand it. We do all of it together, and there you got Vegas pizza right there.
There you go, and that'll be $3,000.
So on to some more nickel and diming in Vegas. This came to my attention via X, and this is from Green Valley Ranch. And it's an email that they're sending out to people who are staying there, you know, kind of upcharges. Like you can request a room that connects to another room and pay $25, or you could request a room that doesn't connect to another room and pay $10. And Green Valley Ranch says that you don't have to do this. And if the room is available when you get there, you could get the type of room you want. Very confusing, though. They're basically trying to get you to pay either way. And this is happening. I don't know. I just think this is a bad move all around. I get what their point is, that they will give you the room if you get there. But yeah, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
What a confusing fee. If you're someone who doesn't stay in hotels a whole bunch, are you looking at this and saying, well, is a choice $10 or $25? Is there a way I don't have to pay this fee at all? Can you get a connecting and a non-connecting room and not have to pay the fee? I mean, what is this? I mean, I do understand, you know, having stayed in tons and tons of hotels, how much I hate a connecting room when I don't need it. That fee makes sense, I guess, on paper to me, to guarantee that doesn't happen when I really do need a good night's rest. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like hotels are built to soundproofing qualities now anymore anyway. So the the non-connecting room, I can still hear a lot of stuff going on in the hallway and next door sometimes. So I don't think that this fee makes sense at all. It's just another nickel and diming, and not the service culture that I'd be looking for in a place that I'm staying.
And a lot of hotel chains like Hilton, for example, they advertise the fact that you can choose this for free. I think that it would be nice for them to add this and just let it be a request, and then we can honor it or not honor it. But I guess they want to give people the option to pay. I mean, it's just the fact, like you say, it's confusing. Now, speaking of Hilton, they have some hotels that if you have diamond status and you're eligible for an upgrade, you'll still get an email after booking asking you to pay for an upgrade. So some of this is just the sort of systems. And, I guess, like you said, it's for people like us who travel a lot, this wouldn't be a big issue. I would just look right past that. I probably wouldn't even have noticed it or paid much attention to it, but it is very confusing when you're playing both sides of the court here.
Yeah, I think a better move would be maybe advertising the fact that you could guarantee a connecting room for free, much like Hilton does, and bring in some of the families or other people that maybe are the market for this. Then you have more people on the property spending money in your restaurants, gambling in your casino. Searching for that dollar up front can kind of backfire sometimes. So we'll see. We'll see if this makes any sort of dent in their bottom line. My guess is probably not.
Speaking of dents to bottom lines, nickel and diming, it's a topic of this show going back a long time. And I feel like it's just become more and more prevalent since COVID, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And all around, every aspect, you see new fees like we just talked about, new ways that they're finding to generate revenue. And the local media really hasn't jumped on board this very much. But finally, the Review Journal this week wrote an article all about nickel and diming in Las Vegas and how people are kind of getting sick of it and what it means for the future. And what really stood out to me was this paragraph, and I'll read it for you. The Las Vegas Review Journal reached out to Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, as well as over 20 casino operators on the Strip, off-Strip, downtown, and around the valley to discuss this topic. Most casino operators did not respond, and 2 declined to comment. These casinos use the Review Journal as their publicity piece, but when they have something that they don't like, they just don't even answer the email.
Just so telling. So telling. I cannot believe how expensive the Strip at least feels right now, based on my recent trip there. I can understand why they don't want to comment to the newspaper or the journal of record in the city, because it is too expensive. I mean, the early check-in fee 30 minutes before your official check-in time at Caesars properties is absolutely insane. All the prices of everything on the Strip, if you're not gambling and you want to just buy a beer in a casino, it's well over $10. It's absurd. So I do understand why finally the mainstream media is kind of getting the beat on this story a little bit, and we'll see what happens in the future with all the stories that I know you all cover here about declining visitors or people staying away from Vegas because of the perceived expensiveness now.
Yeah, and there's repercussions to all of this from the customer experience, not just the fact that it's taking more money out. Like you talk about the early check-in fee, you'll watch people congregate around these check-in lines until the minute that they can check in for free. Now all of a sudden you have a giant line and people are waiting to check in now. They just waited until the time came instead of just letting people come in and check in. And so there's a lot of experience repercussions that are happening with this. And it's good to see the Review Journal chiming in. There were a few operators, including Derek Stevens, who did answer their request, basically saying costs are higher, things like that, stuff we've talked about. That is all legitimate stuff, but we all know that that's not all of it, right? That they are bringing more profits. I mean, you can listen to the earnings calls. They talk about this. Bill Hornbuckle talking about how their recent raising of resort fees and parking fees is generating revenue in the short term this year, maximizing their stock and all of that stuff. So we'll see how it goes in the long term. But Review Journal, it's good to have you on board.
Absolutely. Yep. Short term is great for the stock price, but long term, we'll have to see.
So we are losing a beloved structure on the Las Vegas Strip. Finally, you may have walked in front of Caesars Palace and seen the famous rotunda, and it had seen better days. Recently, I think they cleaned it up a bit. 2020, 2021, it was really bad, like just falling apart. This, of course, used to be the entrance to one of the people movers that took you from the Strip into Caesars Palace. And then I believe in 2017, when the Omnia nightclub was built, they closed it and the rotunda just sits there empty. And what was once a great entrance is just sort of abandoned. And now they have confirmed sometime in 2025, they're going to tear it down. I'm very sad, but this sort of makes me think that they have some development for that area of the Strip. They recently redid some of the landscaping there, cleared it out. There is a parking lot there. There's a lot that they could probably do in that area. So maybe we're getting something good. I just want to see what the inside of it looks like now. I mean, it was all themed and stuff. It's not very big, but yeah, let's crack that thing open so we can see it before you tear it down.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do remember taking the People Mover way back when I first started going to Vegas, but I don't remember what was inside the rotunda. I agree with you though. This is a large plot of land. It now having to walk into the Caesar's Palace from the Strip, you just notice how much land they actually have out front. So my guess is probably dining or retail. It's just too big of a plot of land for them to not be making any revenue on. So it's going to be sad to see that go. I guess that they probably dressed it up for the F1 because it's just so prominent and a cool structure to see with the cars zooming by. But yeah, I think that they should pop that open and let us at least look inside. My guess is probably that the different, theming is falling apart in there now at this point.
Yeah, I think they were originally going to tear it down for F1 for the original race, and I doubt that's going to happen now. They don't need all the grandstands they figured out. So I agree. I mean, if you're coming from the north and now with the new Hard Rock, somebody asked the question, when do we stop referring it to the old Mirage and the new Hard Rock? I think the time is now. So the Hard Rock is right there. And if you're coming from that direction, once you pass the Forum Shops, which isn't really easy to get into Caesars, you got to take those. I do love those spiral escalators up, but it's not like the most direct way into the casino. So it's kind of a dead zone there. And maybe they're thinking to do that to maximize the space. We don't know, but sad to see that go. It is a cool thing on the Strip, a bit of theming that we are losing. I'm more upset about this than I should be, and I'm trying to be rational here, but I really do like that building.
No, history's history. It's sad to see it go. I think that the time is now for the Hard Rock as well, because I was just at Legoland California this weekend, and their little mini strip Vegas made out of Legos actually features the hard block instead of the Mirage now. So they've already turned the page a little bit. I think the time is now.
Have they fixed that up a little bit? When I was there a few years ago, those strip casinos were falling apart. They looked like they had seen better days.
They look pretty good, actually. I think that they've dressed it up a little bit. There's still a couple things that were falling apart. It's always impressive. I'm always blown away what people can create with those.
So you come to Vegas a lot. You do Vegas content along with a lot of cruise content, but you do have hotel tours and Vegas stuff on Jackson Jetsetting, your YouTube channel. What are some of your favorite Vegas things that you've done recently? Like, what is your favorite part of Vegas right now?
Fontainebleau, seeing not only how nice it is on the inside, but also how empty it was. And seeing the massive expense. I love hitting up Area 15 and seeing what's new there. I'm excited by the new Universal scare houses coming in that are going to be open there year round as a theme park fan. Finally getting to experience the Sphere and seeing the Postcards from Earth movie in there because, as a former film student, I just love seeing those massive, one-off films that they create a special experience just for one venue. So that was really special for me to see. I like seeing all the new stuff going into the Sphere concert-wise too. So, overall, I think that the experience once you get to Vegas is pretty amazing. You just have to be willing to pay for a lot of that fun now.
Yeah, the price, if you can get past it, and that's a lot of, sometimes we talk about restaurants and food and we don't always focus on the price, and it's hard to overlook that, but sometimes you have to if you want to accept Vegas for what it is. But it is a reminder we have so much new stuff coming, like the Sphere in the last few years, like Universal's Horror Unleashed coming. I have to say that very specifically. I used to say the word horror the correct way. Yeah, a lot of new stuff. Vegas constantly reinventing itself. You've done some tours. I hope you get to come back, do some more Vegas content. And yeah, you have some recent tours. Fontainebleau. What else did you have from Vegas on your channel?
I finally got to stay at the lauded Circus. I wanted to check it out for myself. Wasn't as bad as I thought, honestly. The rooms are honestly terrible, but the experience itself, it's very family friendly. There's a lot to do on property, and it kind of has that old, vintage Vegas feel on the midway there, and Adventure Dome and things like that. Hope to get back another time at some point this year.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we discussed today. Good Samaritans in the casino. Are you shocked to see that? Playing video poker at the bar, getting the light. Are you tired of these new systems? Of course, the nickel and diming and the mainstream media finally covering it. Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll be back in a couple days with another show. Mark Osterman will be back. Thank you so much, Mark Jackson, for joining us. Make sure to check out his channel and his recent Vegas stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.